in Africa during maiden edition of Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum. Details as it proposes solutions to the continent-wide problem. Also tonight, we are live in South Africa following Nigerian government's condemnation of xenophobic attacks on its nationals in South Africa and attacks also, reprisal attacks against South African companies in some countries on the continent. And Nigeria is already calling for immediate prosecution of perpetrators. We'll bring you details of a statement released by the Nigerian Foreign Ministry. Amidst reports, South African businesses in Nigeria are closing down. General Secretary of the opposition NDC is dismissing assertions by some critics he is unfit to be running mate to NDC flag bearer John Mahama following media reports suggesting he will be selected. So is he really interested and will he be considered for the job? You want to stay with us here on Newsnight for that in business.
The Ghana Revenue Authority to publish names of businesses failing to meet their tax obligations.
And later in sports, former IBF welterweight champion Joshua Clottey will tell you why he believes he can become a two-time world champion at the age of 41.
You want to stay with us for the latest across sports, business, and also from the Rosewood scandal conversation. We're live at the Tema Port, where a press conference is expected shortly, where the ministerial committee will be speaking to the press. We'll be interrogating further with the EIE, the US-based agency that first detailed what they believe to be high-level corruption in the sector as far as the felling of Rosewood is concerned. My name is Evans Mensah. John, with your views and comments. 0244 340437 is the WhatsApp line.
Your success, our passion.
Ma, please give me your phone. Let me make a quick call.
So you're still on that network that gives you fair data and talk time, when Vodafone has double the Red 1, Red 2, and Red 5 offers. For 5 cities, Shaikra. You get 250 minutes to call all networks, 250 megabytes data, and more.
I'm moving to Vodafone today.
Switch to Vodafone to enjoy double Intuswar on Red bundles of 1, 2, and 5 cities. Enjoy double talk minutes to call all networks and double data to browse. Vodafone always gives you more. Dial star 200 hash to subscribe now. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Thank you, folks. On my A list today, show some love for Contractor EB. So, Contractor, what do you think about the country's changing skyline?
Oh, send them down there, Sharima. Across skyline, they change you.
Wow. Contractor, don't you get worried when you hear of buildings collapsing?
I'm not from an aswan on Tassam. It is the likability of using low quality product.
Please explain why.
Yeah, cement is no quality on the gasem. Village of Fefio Yosiwe. It was built with gasem. Says the gasem they all construct construction Osi ho pumping Sha N1 Kejite Market Kotokana Kumasi Airport Cape Coast Stadium Atwabo Gas Project na Gasebo Messi what a quality no what is quality
Gasem 3 cement grades greater value Gasem the nation builder.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week, I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Kingdom Books this year back to school promotion is in conjunction with Citidia Supermarket. Buy school items worth 100 Ghana cedis from Kingdom Books and get 12% discount voucher to purchase from Citidia and vice versa. School items include textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books across all Kingdom Books branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability is assured. For further information, call 0302-764209 or 0302-746101 and 0501-401050. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury. In a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses in our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
And you're still live on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. And tonight there is a dire warning from former President John Dramani Mahama about attempts currently ongoing, active attempts by extremists to recruit Ghanaians to join their jihadist causes. He's been warning that more needs to be done right now, urgently, to tackle that particular threat that holds the potential of destabilizing not only Ghana but the sub-region. He cited a charity organization that in 2015 recruited university students in Ghana to fight in Syria and in Libya. Mr. Mahama was speaking at the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum on the theme Operations in the Context of Violent Extremism in Africa. Listen to him.
Things that have happened in the past. One of them the president alluded to this morning when he talked about an incident in 2015 when a supposedly charitable organization, it was supposed to be a religious charity, was recruiting people, especially from tertiary educational institutions, and shipping them off to go and fight the jihad in Syria and in Libya. There were a few students from some universities in Ghana who left their courses and went abroad to go and fight, for what they believed in ideologically. And so there even you see that it's not always the poor and vulnerable, but even somebody who has a bright career future in front of them, doing a prestigious course, will leave it and go to fight for what they believe in. And so it's a very hydra-headed issue that, we need to confront, as he said, with, new and innovative solutions. There's also the incident of a bus full of people ostensibly recruited on their way to Libya and probably continuing to Syria that we intercepted our national security at the time. And you have to look at the legal environment and how to deal with people like this, because we intercepted them, brought them back. Our law says you can't keep people like that beyond 48 hours. And so it needed innovation and collaboration with the judiciary to see how you could remand them for a longer period.
Well, meanwhile, a security analyst has also been speaking about this. We'll hear his thoughts shortly. But the former president said one of the surest ways to win the war against violent extremism is when the masses are given the opportunity to freely participate in governance and also vent their frustration through the media, etc.
But most of all, we must be happy for the free expression that we enjoy in Ghana. If people are able to vent their frustrations, then it does not pile up until it becomes a frustration where they think that they're not being listened to, and so they must take up arms against the state. And so a free media, where people are able to, vent their frustrations, call into any program in their own dialects and say what they think is wrong in society, I think is also a very contributory factor towards the resilience of the society to stand against extremism. But most importantly, we have religious tolerance in Ghana. It is interesting to see the religions, major religions, and even the minor religions living side by side and coexisting without any problem. Muslims and Christians and Buddhists and all kinds of people exercise their religions freely. Our constitution says that there shall be freedom of worship and the freedom to express what your religious beliefs, and that has been largely respected. And so people don't have a problem expressing their religious beliefs, and nobody is persecuted for expressing any religious beliefs. And I think that is a good thing. Luckily, we have level-headed religious leaders who have pursued rapprochement between the religions.
I want to bring in right now Dr. Kwesi Enning, security analyst, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, Doc, for your time here on Newsnight.
It's a great pleasure.
We just heard the former president talk about violent extremism, and he talks about the Ghana connection to it. When you listen to him talk and say jihadist causes, you don't readily think Ghana. You think Mali, for example. You even think Burkina Faso. Is there a real threat as far as Ghana is concerned? As far as Ghana is concerned?
But I'm surprised you are focusing on the former president, because His Excellency the President also spoke about particular instances where Ghanaians had been radicalized, gone out of Ghana, joined these groups, and had been killed. I think the President also made the point that actually that no country is safe anymore, including Ghana itself. So when President Mahama came onto the podium at the very last end of the first session, he also gave instances when he was in government that this happened. But to come back to your question about you don't think Ghana when you hear violent extremism, I think it's actually quite natural to think about Ghana, because there are several reasons why extremists would want to recruit here. We are a middle-income country. We are an increasingly democratizing country where personal liberties are becoming more embedded. We are a major troop contributing country and police contributing country. We've received Guantanamo Bay detainees. So there are more than enough factual reasons why, we should be a target. But even more importantly, the manner in which extremists seek to recruit. President Mahama listed some of them, but even more importantly also, what makes us resilient as a country. One relates to the boom in population, the demographics and the youth bulge, issues of exclusion, issues of unemployment. So there are factual reasons why the extremist narrative will find very fertile ground here, because there are people who feel excluded, who feel victimized. There are people who feel not part of the successes of this country. So those are the factual issues that we were talking about, and also to raise questions about issues of prevention. What can be done to ensure that people don't get recruited, people don't get radicalized, and people don't harm their own state.
If you listen to the president and the former president, and I'll get the president's sound up very shortly, they all seem to agree that the conditions in this country are pretty rife and encourage or nurture the potential for such extremism to grow, i.e. poverty, etc., is pretty rife. It appears to me that to deal with this needs a really comprehensive strategy, not only one of guns and men at the borders, as the president suggested, but something that is, I guess, goes to the roots and communities to deal with some of these fundamental underlying concerns. You agree?
Well, but this is the ABC of prevention. This is not rocket science. The military solution is usually the last solution. That's number one. Number two, we've also argued that in seeking to understand and design preventive interventions, first we need to look at the individual, we need to look at the family, we need to look at the community. Because those who seek to recruit and to radicalize and to turn people into extremists are located within our communities, seeking to identify people who are weak and have particular types of grievances that they can exploit. Okay, so when we work with communities and community leaders, women, youth, church leaders, traditional leaders, they become the front line of identifying those who are spewing extremist ideologies in our communities, or even itinerant people who come into our communities offering water, offering humanitarian aid, offering all forms of assistance, microcredit and microfinance under very suspicious circumstances. The argument is that the nature of the threat has become so widespread and the modalities for recruitment and radicalization so new that to be able to respond, we need to be proactive and design alternative, preventive interventions and structures. Because if we continue to do things as we do it, in which the state comes with an approach that says, here I come, we are the only people who can do this, or it's only people who work for the state who can contribute to the prevention, then we will lose the fight. And I think that is the message from all the 5 or 6 ex-head of states, plus former President Mahama and His Excellency President Akufo-Addo.
As a country, are we ready to deal with this threat by your own assessment and analysis?
No, so far as we have not been attacked, physically, then one can conclude that we are doing well. As to whether individuals will be recruited and radicalized, I think over the period we are talking about 27 people, of which we know most of the males have been killed. The women who joined both in Libya and Syria and Iraq, some of them have been married off to other men from North African countries. So the state is able to prevent, attacks against our critical infrastructure, but on the individual level, people have been recruited, and I suspect that is still going on. But those that we know have left, succeeded in leaving, all the men have been killed except about 3 or 4 women who have been married off.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That is Dr. Kwesi Ening there speaking on the back of this summit that happened today. And we'll be bringing you the President's own thoughts on the situation in the sub-region when it comes to terrorism. Very shortly, he's been talking about how porous borders and poverty fuel that in a bit. Now, the General Secretary of the Opposition National Democratic Congress has dismissed, I'm talking about Johnson Sudi Nketia, he's dismissing assertions by some critics he is unfit to be running mate to John Mahama. It follows media reports suggesting the former president, who has been campaigning in some parts of the country over the last few weeks, may be considering the NDC General Secretary. Now, other reports suggest former Finance Minister Dr. Kwesi Botwe may get the nod, but Mr. Asedu Nketia says although he will not lobby for the position, he is not opposed to the idea of being a running mate. He spoke to Gift Andrew Appiah on the Pulse.
I would gladly accept it because I have never rejected any, duty that has been imposed on me. There are only two things that I've rejected before. First, an offer of a ministerial appointment under President Mills, and another offer of ministerial appointment under President.
What makes you think you have what it takes to be vice president?
If the party feels that I'm the best person to play role A, B, C, before the party comes to that conclusion that Asedu Nketia is the person to play role A, B, C, they must have considered something.
Are you inclined to lobby for it?
No.
Why not?
Because, you see, I believe that there's a sense in which you can overmarket a good product. If you are overmarketing a good product, it can create a negative impression that product is after all not good. That is why you are overmarketing it. So everybody in this party knows about my capabilities. I've heard many people saying, I don't know anything about the economy, and so on and so on. There is a sense in which I change the perception about me.
Talking about the economy, recently there was news which people we heard later was fake news that Professor Kwesi Botwe had been appointed the running mate.
Yeah.
Subsequently, we tried to verify with the party. We were told that it wasn't true. What was happening then?
Well, I also heard it, but then Professor Botwe swiftly reacted to it. He has since submitted a petition to us to investigate the source of that information and bring the people who put it out there to book, which we are working on. Yesterday, I signed a letter directed at the person who made that announcement. So we are here to investigate. So,
when the news came out, even though we were told later it wasn't true, a lot of people thought that, well, you take your competitors, the President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who's into economy.
I presented myself as a pawine tapper in politics. So there are people who begin to question, has he gone to school before? How many pawine tappers go to school and all that? In fact, my first degree was in business administration, and I did a postgraduate course in stockbroking and investment advice. And so the profession I was operating under, I had a foray into banking and all that. So where I left to Parliament was actually a portfolio in which I was giving investment advice and trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
And that is Gift Andrew Appiah speaking there to the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. And you heard him there say he will not turn it down if John Dramani Mahama chooses to select him as his running mate. But will he be selected? Is he on the short list? But I'm really curious to hear what you think. Will Johnson Asedu Nketia be an excellent choice of a running mate to John Dramani Mahama for the 2020 elections? Well, let me hear what you think. Send me a WhatsApp, 0244-340-437, 0244-340-437. I want to quickly return to the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum today. We heard the former president talks about extremist activities in Ghana, attempts to recruit Ghanaians to join jihadist causes. Well, President Nana Akufo-Addo was also there at this particular summit, and he talked about some of the challenges that fuel extremism, particularly porous borders and poverty.
Endemic poverty and widespread disillusionment amongst youth in Africa are not only providing fertile breeding grounds for those who want to cross the Sahara Desert on foot, and the Mediterranean Sea in rickety boats in the hope of finding a better future in Europe, but also for a new generation of terrorists and violent extremists. This is most worrying because surrogates of Al-Qaeda in the Sahel and Boko Haram militants operating around the Lake Chad Basin, the two most active terrorist groups in West Africa, are known to exploit the unacceptable levels of poverty in these areas in the recruitment and indoctrination of youth. The growing number of breakaway terror groups, in addition to our natural vulnerabilities, notably the spread of ethno-linguist groups and the porous nature of our borders, call for regional and continental approaches to contain the growing threats of terrorist and extremist activities.
Well, that is the president that's speaking at this event in Accra today, where several heads of states across the continent were in attendance, taking absolutely seriously the threat that terrorism poses and violent extremism poses to sub-regional stability. You're still listening to News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM. I want to take you to the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital now, where the hospital has today revealed the health facility will from next month run on a paperless and cashless system. Now, according to the board chairman of the health facility, Bernard Okoboy, the move will provide a timely and improved quality care of patients to avoid any kind of duplication. Trust me, if you've been to Korle Bu before, one of the biggest challenges you face is carrying your own folder from one end to the other, from one building. And Korle Bu is a huge facility. It's the biggest challenge you face. If you don't have anybody to help you and you're sick in Korle Bu, that is possibly one of the things that would expedite and aggravate your health condition. But it appears that there is a move to change that with a paperless system. Well, he's been speaking to Joy News today at the Korle Bu senior staff review meeting. He said the digitization of the Premier Health Facility will reduce leakages and improve accountability.
I think one interesting news also is that from October, the paperless project in Korle Bu, thanks to His Excellency the Vice President Dr. Bawumia, is about to roll out. For the first time, you don't have to wait hours to get your folder. Korle Bu is going paperless. With the blessing of His Excellency, the President Akufo-Addo, the board, we've also taken it on board. The polyclinic is the unit that we are starting the rollout. All the necessary infrastructure has been put in place. God willing, in October, we expect patients to come without folders. All their information will be put on the system. They can walk straight to the pharmacy where all their data will be in there. You don't have to carry physical prescription forms for anyone to say, walk across the streets or go here. The patient will be without a prescription form. So this would stop some of the leakages, some of the breaks where patients start with us and along the chain they are carried by others, because your data and drugs and everything is right in the system. And we are connecting this to information and data center to make sure that we have all the data to do proper research. Remember, we are not only a services facility, we do teaching and research as well. So this is why some of these gains are happening.
And that is the board chairman of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital there, Mr. Okoboy. Let's do some business now. And George Rafe is here with the very latest. George, what do you have in the headlines?
Well, Evans, the question I asked you, are you meeting all your tax obligations? Because if you don't, then you are becoming a little bit recalcitrant. Well, the Ghana Revenue Authority are saying that they are going to publish the names of these individuals and businesses. And chartered accountant and financial consultant Dr. Daniel Seda confirms report that some of the 4 auditing firms sanctioned were forced to pass these accounts by regulators. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you? Let's now settle for the details. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority is embarking on an operation to publish names of businesses and individuals that fail to honor their tax obligations after several warnings. The operation that Collect Name and Shame falls in line with the authority's quest to use all forms of strategy to show up its revenue collections for the year. Speaking at the launch of the event, Commissioner General Kofinti noted that the authority is determined to meet its revenue target for this year by ensuring that they actually go this way. Let's look at other stories where chartered accountant and financial consultant Dr. Daniel Sedo has confirmed reports that some of the sanctioned auditing firms were pressured by the regulators to part the accounts of some commercial banks. Now, this is coming after 4 auditing firms were sanctioned over their roles that they played in the collapse of these 7 banks. Dr. Daniel Sedo tells Joy Business the development shows that more actors in the financial space need to be questioned.
For most of these cases we've all read about, the banks themselves misconducted themselves and some of them tried to get auditors to give them clean bill of health. And in some instances, with the support of the regulator. So that is where the challenge is coming from, assuming the banks did the right thing. There'll be no problem. But we need to avoid a situation where the regulators or the financial institutions try to meddle in the work of the auditors and try to put pressure on them to give clean bill of health when they themselves think otherwise. I think that has played out in this particular instance we are discussing, and we need to look at that critically. I think if there's the need for any discussion, it should be between the regulators on the side of the financial institutions and the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Let's say there's a particular instance where a bank that is supposed to have minimum capital didn't have the minimum capital, but was issued with license. The auditors went in and saw that, look, there's a deficit. What should they do? Now, they've seen the bank's regulator issuing a license when they don't have a minimum capital. Then you have the bank's regulator now trying to engage the auditor.
Dr. Daniel Sedo is a financial consultant and a chartered accountant. Now, businessman Dr. Papakwe Sindum is moving fast to halt the liquidation of GN Savings and Loans. To this end, lawyers for him had actually filed an application in court to stop government, the Bank of Ghana, from going ahead with the full liquidation process. Joy Business understands the application was filed at the Human Rights Court on Monday, September 2, and its lawyers are pushing for a hearing on September 3rd. Now, Kokobo Chief Executive Joseph Boahene Edu has indicated that his outfit is taking measures to deal with the low consumption of cocoa in the country. Mr. Edu disclosed this at a program to launch series of activities to mark the Cocoa Day, which is expected to start from today and end on October 4. He argued that these and other initiatives could go a long way to deal with the problem of low consumption in the country. And the Wa Airport is set to be open for commercial flights from next month. This was contained in a statement issued by the Aviation Ministry. According to the release, Africa World Airlines is expected to commence flight out to the port on September, that is October 15. The ministry maintains that this is expected to help promote economic and commercial activities between the Upper West region and all the other regional capitals. And the Bank of Ghana is directing deposit-taking institutions to demand identification for withdrawals and deposit into account on behalf of other persons. According to the central bank, the move is part of measures to check money laundering activities in the country. Now, that should mean that without providing the required identification, that bank or deposit-taking institution might not accept those monies being paid into someone's account. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans.
George, have you heard a story about, I'm sure you've been following the xenophobic attacks in South Africa.
Interesting.
It appears to be getting well. There is a business angle to this that is shocking, because I was listening to BBC a short while ago, and it appears in Nigeria, the MTN in particular is announced, BBC is shutting down all its branches because of fears of attacks on it. Because you know that MTN is a major
player in Nigeria, one of the biggest players.
Has been targeted, and so there's fears that the reprisals are targeted now.
And you have South African business interests in Ghana here, and we are hoping that we would not get to that space.
And there are other African countries where we've seen BBC again reporting
Zambia,
exactly,
Ethiopia,
where they are also turning the attention on South African
And it's
businesses.
interesting that this thing is coming at a time when South Africa itself is hosting the Africa version of the World Economic Forum, bringing other African countries, South Africa, to discuss how we can.
Nigeria has pulled out of that. Nigeria says they will not participate because of the xenophobic attacks happening in SA already.
Event.
Yeah, this seemed to be developing. It happened a few years back, but I think it's taking on a more serious tone now than before.
Even though we want to condemn the reprisal attacks too, for some of these people in other African countries, they're getting annoying that it is getting far too long. I mean, first, we thought it was normal, but it happened, and the reoccurrence of this is getting them annoying. That is why we are seeing those reprisal attacks. But we pray that it won't get there for some of these. It tells you how connected we as Africa or African countries are. Don't forget, at the time when we are trying to promote free trade, the South African free trade area, we are more connected now as a country or as a continent than before. So if you take any action, remember that it has serious implications for your business interests in those other African countries even.
It's unfortunate that this is happening, but it's happening and it's been covered globally. And the hashtags relating to this has been trending for quite a while on Twitter as well. Thank you very much, George. I want to bring in Ernest Menu because the Nigerian government have issued a statement tonight. The Foreign Affairs Ministry has a statement tonight on this unfolding incidents, both in South Africa, but also the reprisals we're seeing against South African business interests in Nigeria and other parts of the African continent. What is the Nigerian government saying?
So this is a statement released by the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Nigeria. It says that the federal government of Nigeria totally condemns the renewed attacks and on foreign nationals and their businesses in South Africa, which has led to the loss of lives and properties worth millions of naira. The government of Nigeria is engaging the relevant South African authorities via the Nigerian High Commission in Pretoria, the Consulate General in Johannesburg, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja to ensure that definite measures are put in place to curtail the unfortunate attacks. The federal government commends the arrest of some perpetrators of the dastardly act by the South African police and call for timely prosecution to serve as deterrence to others. And of course, Evans, they have advised their nationals as well. It says that due to the tension created by the attacks, the government of Nigeria wishes to advise Nigerians to avoid traveling to high-risk and volatile areas until the situation is brought under control. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs wishes to assure the general public that government is committed to protecting the lives and properties of Nigerians in South Africa. And this is signed by Ferdinand Uwoye, the spokesperson for the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Ministry.
I want to take you live now to South Africa. Let's go live to Nigeria now, rather, and speak to Mohammed Abdullahi. He's a journalist there for some update on how Nigerians are taking this. Mohammed, thank you for your time here on Joy 99.7 FM. Can you tell us, can you confirm reports you're hearing tonight that there have been reprisals targeted at South African business interests? It appears that MTN is one of the biggest hit in Nigeria. Are these reports accurate?
Yeah. Hello. Thank you for having me, Jonathan. Actually, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. What actually happened in earnest was it was yesterday, not even today. There was reprisal attacks in some businesses that were erroneously thought to be owned by South Africans. But we all know these are franchise. They are owned by Nigerians, but they are franchised like the ShopRite in Lagos. About 3 locations in Lagos, the one in Lekki, highbrow area of Lagos, and then in Surulere, where you have the middle class as well. It was attacked and some goods were carted away, looted by hoodlums who hijacked the opportunity to loot ShopRite. But again today, hello, are you there?
Yes, Mohammed.
Yeah, okay. Hello, today MTN issued a statement. MTN Nigeria issued a nationwide statement that their offices will be closed to customers all across Nigeria today. They can only be reached via Twitter or other online platforms. So that is the situation. And there are reports that one person was killed yesterday actually in Lagos by, bullets from Nigerian police and so on. But at the moment, the situation is the fact that the Nigerian government have commanded the security outfits to, man all the businesses owned by South Africans here in Nigeria, like the Stanbic IBTC Bank, like MTN Nigeria, like ShopRite, Sasol, and all others. DSTV, that is multi-choice. So all are being under the guards of Nigerian security officers. But I think the latest of the Nigerian government, I heard you talk about, there is latest information about from the Nigerian government now, and it is that the Nigerian government has actually recalled its ambassador from South Africa. Yeah, it's the latest. After a meeting, a high security meeting by the president this evening, President Muhammadu Buhari and the vice president, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they held a closed-door meeting, and the outcome from that meeting is that the Nigerian ambassador of South Africa has been recalled with immediate effect. Are you there?
I am here. So what you're saying is this is an escalation in the diplomatic, round now. It's generating into a full-blown diplomatic crisis. Nigeria, you're saying, has tonight withdrawn its ambassador to South Africa.
Yes, I can confirm that to you. It's there everywhere, reported by all the top media in Nigeria this evening, that the Nigerian ambassador to South Africa has been recalled, and that is one. And if you recall also, the World Economic Forum for Africa, which is supposed to start today in Cape Town, the Nigerian contingent is also pulling out. They have also confirmed that the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is supposed to have led the delegation of Nigeria there today, but they are also withdrawing from the event. Again, another point that Nigerian government is raising is that the South African government must ensure full compensation of the loss of properties of Nigerians in South Africa that were, attacked by that were involved in xenophobic attack. So those are the three cardinal points from the high security meeting that were held this evening by the Nigerian president, the vice president, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I'm grateful, Mohammed, for that. From Nigeria. That's Mohammed, a Nigerian journalist, kind enough to join us tonight from Nigeria, helping us understand how this has been received in Nigeria. Because, as you know by now, it's been reported on international wise that most of the foreigners targeted in South Africa in these xenophobic attacks are Nigerians. Ghanaians have been caught up in the midst of that as well. But the one majority we've heard are Nigerians, and Nigeria is reacting tonight. He's reporting, as you just heard there, that as of a few minutes ago tonight, the Nigerian government, the Nigerian president, has withdrawn their ambassador to South Africa. That is a serious diplomatic move. And it appears that this signals a worsening of the relationship, a diplomatic relationship now between Nigeria and South Africa for a country to withdraw their ambassador to one country. It's a form of protest to their dissatisfaction to how the country itself is handling the crisis that is currently unfolding in South Africa. So how is Ghana dealing with this? The Ghana High Commission in South Africa is seeking assistance of South African authorities in the wake of the attacks. According to George Boateng, even though no Ghanaian has been attacked in the violence, which started on Monday, the High Commission is taking steps to provide support to Ghanaians who may need help. Speaking on the Super Morning Show today, Mr. Boateng, who is our ambassador to South Africa, promised the state agencies of South Africa are prepared to support the High Commission and Ghanaians who may be caught up in the violence.
We are engaging with the South African authorities. Yesterday, for instance, there was a meeting between the officers of Home Affairs and Foreign Affairs. I had a meeting with them, and the assurance they gave is that they will make sure that this thing is nipped in the bud, and that they will protect us as much as they could. I've also issued a statement to the communities, Ghanaian communities, advising them to avoid unnecessary arguments with people whom they engage them, and then they also avoid going to violent-prone areas for possible where somebody may, and then be monitoring the movement of people towards them. So we are on course.
So that is our High Commissioner to South Africa there, Ms. Isi Boateng. And if you're just joining us, just a report that we are getting from Nigeria tonight is that the Nigerian government the president have decided to withdraw the ambassador to South Africa. And we know that Nigerians have been told by the government to avoid high-risk areas in South Africa. And their reaction is coming from the continent really across. Botswana has issued a travel warning as well. Zambia's president has called for concerted measures to deal with the problem. Zambia has already cancelled a South African march over the xenophobic attacks. In Nigeria, police have beefed up security at South African-owned shops. MTN Nigeria have closed its shops across the country tonight, and this seemed to be unfolding. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mohammed, has condemned in the stronger terms the xenophobic attacks in South Africa as well. And Esmenu joins me again with details of the statement released by the office. What is it that you're saying?
The chairperson says he is encouraged by arrests already made by South African authorities. He calls for further and immediate steps to protect the lives of people and their property and ensure that all perpetrators are brought to account for their act and that justice be done to those who suffered economic and other losses. Now, the chairperson reiterates the African Union's Commission's continued commitment to support the South African government in addressing the root causes that led to these despicable acts in order to promote peace and stability within the framework of the African Union's long-standing principles of continental solidarity. And it's signed by Eba Lokando, the spokesperson to the chairperson, African Union Commission, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Where are you tonight? If you listen to us in South Africa, I want to hear from you. 0244-340-437. Send me a WhatsApp and all the other stories you've heard tonight here on the program as well. I'd love to hear what your take is on this. Now, I'm sure you know by now that Joy FM today launched the Clean Ghana campaign in collaboration with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. They've been out there today clamping down on people who were simply flouting the bylaws as far as sanitation is concerned. On day one of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, they saw the arrest of 2 persons found to have broken AMA sanitation bylaws. 23 others were given 48 hours to improve their surroundings or risk sentencing. At Aveno here in Accra, the community volunteered to make amends after dumping refuse in the Odo drain by offering to embark on a cleanup exercise which drew in all the residents as well. It wasn't all cordial though, as in some communities there were confrontations. Nancy Emefa Jadosi was with the team and has come through with this report.
One of the workers of a local eatery, angry that the AMA officials had discarded portions of the food said to be unwholesome.
You put this thing under it to use it to prepare food for people to consume. So we are confiscating it and we will destroy it. In her face here, nothing is going back to the kitchen to be used for food preparation because it's possible it's contaminated. You can even see the face of it. All is in the kitchen there. That, what do you call a chop box there, with dirty clothes. Some of this dirty, purified, very dirty, rotten face under the table under. Turn around, use it to prepare soup for us again. We'll just immediately prepare court summons for her, march her to court tomorrow. Or we can even bundle her now, march her straight to court.
Notices were served to other food vendors sited few meters from the railway line and selling under insanitary conditions.
So we'll prepare you people to court. Whoever is responsible will come to answer there. Thank you. So Ismail, prepare them and let's...
Others did not have health cards, which qualify them to sell food.
Ismail, have you served them? You served them already? Okay. So take note of them. We are preparing them for court.
One of the places the team visited appeared to be a cold store for sachet water, with wires hanging dangerously.
Who has given you people service to the utility that you use?
Electricity.
We have meters, that's it. We have about 10 meters or 12 meters. Here. Can we have an evidence of any bill being paid? Because this is an unregulated area, so I doubt that you pay bills.
Some of the residents accuse the sachet water hawkers of failing to clean up the litter they generate. The presence of the inspection task force in the community got many cleaning their surroundings, albeit to avoid arrest. At some of the places visited, such as the public place of convenience, the attendants were commended for the environmentally friendly technology they had adopted.
Looking at the content that gets into the drain, it means that the biosystem is functioning efficiently, because the discharge there doesn't look such as an effluent that is dangerous to environment.
At Aveno, a resident was found dropping refuse in the Odo drain and was immediately arrested. His justification, though, was that was how the entire community disposed of trash. The task force agreed to spare the culprit only if the community would clean up the surrounding.
Papa iwe ofri Aveno ha or the ball ekotu egu got amum na yechine de baye ayenungu asima hefa Aveno community for muperesa. We are taking him away. Mupese yamfana kwa mekanisesiya. Mupese yamfana kwa mekanisesiya. Mubaya den wa ball away home. So I want to see brooms here. Then you start to show a sign of cleaning the place. Then I'll let us go.
They got to work immediately, promising to ensure that indiscriminate dumping of refuse would cease. These livestock sellers were also tasked to sweep the gutters or be made to face the law.
Let them come now, as we are here, let them sweep it now, before we don't go into paperwork. Now.
Inspector Joseph Asitanga was happy with the amount of work they were able to do and expressed optimism the campaign will yield the desired results.
Very successful, very successful, impact achieving, and a lot has gone into the community. All the business environment have heard of our presence today and the need for them to keep their environment clean.
The task force may next be in your backyard, so you are better off cleaning up now.
Nancy filed that report, and don't forget to join the conversation. #JoyCleanGhana. And already on Twitter, the conversation is underway. Ni_Prasit says, Accra, the major city, this is so disgusting. We need to change our ways. That's where we need to begin from. #JoyCleanGhana. And that's a response to some of the videos that we've posted already on the back of today's first exercise, partnering with the AMA today. And many more of you are joining the conversation on Twitter as well. Anthony says, well done, Joy News Channel. We have WhatsApp Africa, that has also posted Joy News editor Abakum Singh shedding more light on this particular campaign as well. You want to join that discussion also on Twitter, #JoyCleanGhana. Let's do some sports now. You were disgusted by what you're hearing in that report.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that is a great initiative. I think that we don't have to, rest on our horse. We need to sustain it and ensure that this comes to stay. I think that cleaning our environment has to be a Ghanaian culture. We need to put in the same effort that we put in littering our environment. So I think it's a great initiative.
In the headlines, as far as sports is concerned,
now, former IBF welterweight champion Joshua Clottey believes he can become a two-time world champion at the age of 41. Clottey last held a world title 11 years ago when he beat Zab Judah to annex the IBF strap. The Grandmaster was out of the ring for 4 years and only recently returned in March this year to beat Tanzania's Infami. He's however adamant he's capable of mixing it up with the division's current title holders.
I can fight world title that you won't believe.
if right now I get the opportunity. My record is 46 fights, 1 no contest, 5 defeats, and the 5 defeats are ex-champions, only one guy. And that one guy was a middleweight. I took that fight in the middleweight, and the guy was too big. Go and check the record of Azman and Erisai. They have lost 4, 5, 6. That is a good professional fighter. That is their loss. 40 wins. If I'm tired, the body will not even take me to the gym. I've been training like I used to train. I go to the gym, I spar, I finish the sparring. After that, I'll go and play soccer. After the soccer, I'll wear my teeth, I'll run before I'll come and bath because I'm still strong. I've taken care of myself very, very well. Whoever comes with the title fight, I am ready. But let me tell you, they don't want to risk.
So Joshua Clottey there speaking there, and I can tell you that, look, it is very possible. The examples are many. George Foreman became a heavyweight champion again, well around that age. Manny Pacquiao is into his 40s and is a world champion. So Joshua Clottey certainly can become a 2-time world champion at the age of 41.
I'm hoping to become a world champion at the age of 36. Who knows?
You?
Oh, yeah. That's why I've been hitting the gym for the last 2 years.
I wish you luck.
Please do. Thank you very much, Hans. Well, let's move on now to Diana Nado, the latest episode. And I'm sure you know by now, it's been 3 years since the implementation of government's flagship Free SHS policy. The program has seen thousands of JHS graduates enroll in senior high schools across the country and pay absolutely nothing, the government maintains. And that's a focus of this week's edition of Joy News Citizen Driven series, Diana Nado.
The Free SHS policy is expected to make education accessible to all Ghanaian children. Moses Agbaisa is a 15-year-old student.
It helps some of us like me. We don't have money to pay for the SS, but because of the Free SHS, I was able to attend SHS, and I'm really proud of it.
Moses is not alone. There are thousands like him scattered all over the country. Here, at the fish landing beach of New Takrady, a community in Sekendi Takrady, Kobina Asma says there's no way his poor parents could have paid for him to have secondary education.
I attend the Commander Senior High School. The Free SHS is good. It is very good. And I boy on my Nyoko and Yoko, and I want to say, Odidag, no Odidag. I want to wear the teachers one child, but to me, no, or ye, or
His father, Ija Atutwabo, is very excited about the government policy.
Mestre Abanibiala Baba, Senado Qua, Free HS no, Ombra, no Meshima.
Ija has 12 children. He is a fisherman. He's not strong enough to go fishing very often these days. He strongly believes that with the Free SHS policy, every parent will be encouraged to send their children to school. Deputy Minister for Education, Dr. Yawedu Chum, believes this policy will help government leapfrog its goals in achieving expanded access to education.
The point of the matter is that the idea of the implementation of free senior high school was to afford us the opportunity to open education access to the vast majority of our youth. And as a result, this policy was implemented with that goal in mind. So if you look at the number of students who were in high school in 2016, when we came into government, it was about 302,000. The following year, moved on to 365,000, and now we're about 440,000. So you can see the upward growth trajectory. So in terms of access to education, we've met our goal.
Well, Dr. Duchum there, and in that report, this latest episode of the Diana Nado, we watch it on television, Joy News Channel, also see it on myjoyonline.com. And there's a befitting note to end is the build-up to Friday's Adom Praise. And guess who we have on the bill tonight ahead of the main deal on Friday? MOG and Joe Mettle. Well, speaking on the AM show this morning with Mama Viewusu Abaji, the award-winning artist said the night will be a blessing to all.